Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Woodshop, howdy. Okay, I think I figured it out. For those of you that saw this video, a recent video where I turned this wall hanging that should have been a bowl, you're familiar with my problem. For those of you that haven't seen it, here's the problem. My base is too small and ended up being off center. And that's because this piece was just full of decay and whatnot, and it just ended up off center. It's just the way it was. But I've been trying to figure out how I could fix it and if I could fix it, and I think I figured it out. Typically, as I said in that video, I like to remove a recess the same way I remove a tenon, but I didn't want to, well, I couldn't. I didn't feel like I could remove this recess because it's actually the base that it's setting on. And if I removed it, what would it set on? Well, I'm going to remove it, and it's going to set here. And that will provide a wide enough support. Got my lathe set up over here. I'll show you how I'm going to do it. Now, in that previous video, I mentioned that I was getting quite thin down here, but now that it's off of the lathe, I could measure it better, and I actually have about 1/4 of an inch bottom. I might end up at about 1/8 of an inch thick bottom down here. I'm hoping not worse than that. So what I've done is I've taken my little center finder that many wood turners have, and I put it on here like this, and I found what I believe to be is the center of my recess. Then I've mounted a block of wood up in my chuck with a non-slip surface on it. This is the same way I remove a tenon or a recess as I'm doing here. Then I'm just going to bring up the tailstock with a soft touch installed, and I'm going to try and match up that center. I'm going to be turning at a little over 500 RPM with a 3/8 inch standard grind bowl gouge, and I'm just going to start removing that whole base and recess. Okay, this whole center is lower than this is, so I'm in good shape there. I've got some tool work I've got to clean up. I want to get that as small as I can to make it easy to remove by sanding. I guess I can maybe chisel some of it away, but it's still going to require sanding. I'm going to switch to a 1/2 inch swept back bowl gouge. Try and reduce the size of that center portion. And I'm going to declare that good enough and lucky. Definitely declare it lucky. So after I've power sanded with my 2-inch sanding discs, I always save some of the older ones, the ones that I don't feel have a lot of grit left for power sanding, but they work fine for hand sanding. So now I'm going to get rid of my tool rest. You always want to get rid of your tool rest. You don't want to be doing any sanding with your fingers near that tool rest. So I'm going to get rid of it, slow the speed down here a little bit, and I'm just going to sand like this. And I'll apply some finish on there, and I'll be back in a little while. Hey, this is working. Yippee! It's fixed! Yay! It even looks pretty good. Oh man, do I feel better about that. It's such a nice bowl, such a beautiful piece of wood, and I just felt so bad the last few days, wondering if I could fix it and how I would fix it. And it's fixed. If you did not see the original video, look by my picture near the end of this video. If you click my picture, you can subscribe. If you click the link right next to my picture, you can see the original video of the making of this bowl, which was kind of an ordeal in itself. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great week. This is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.